Why did all the brands decide to act up at the same time? Are brands just trying to rage bait us at this point? Hey guys, welcome back to another installment of Curbing Makeup Cravings, where we are talking about all of the brand new makeup releases while at the same time trying to curb the craving for these products by using things we already have that may be similar. If you are new to the channel, my name is Christina and I'm really excited for this one. I went ahead and moved over so we have space right here to put all of the graphics that we're going to be pulling, and I pull all of these from either Trend Mood's Instagram or from the respective brands' Instagrams. So the way I like to structure these videos is working through my makeup while talking about the same types of products. So we're starting off with complexion here. The first complexion product that I want to talk about is actually a brand new makeup line, MPH Beauty, which actually comes from Mary Phillips. Mary Phillips, from what I have gathered, is a highly regarded makeup artist. I had not heard about her until I learned about the underpainting technique, and she is coming out with a whole new beauty brand that's launching at Sephora. So what I specifically want to talk about is actually the highlight and contour palette. So this palette has 5 different shades. It has a color corrector, a highlight shade, a contour shade, and a bronzing shade as well. And they are coming out with 3 different palettes, a light, medium, and deep palette. So this is going to retail for $64, and just right off the bat looking at it, it's nothing special. I think that this is definitely a brand that is pushed and going to be popularized by the maker themselves, which is Mary Phillips. I don't doubt that she is a super talented makeup artist. I have looked at her work and everything that she's done prior to becoming super popular for the underpainting technique, and I think that her looks are beautiful. They look natural, they like enhance the natural beauty of the models, and it always looks like really nice, hydrated, fresh skin. I personally love that look. So for me, if she were going to come out with any sort of makeup brand, it makes complete sense to me for her to come out with complexion products. Now, what I find really interesting about this launch is not that it's necessarily late to the game, but there's really nothing that makes it completely stand out other than the fact that it's Mary Phillips that is releasing it. So what I mean by that is, take for instance Danessa Myricks. She took a completely different approach with different formulations. Something that made them really stand out was the upsolate ingredient, where it helps to absorb the oils. I feel like that felt very innovative. I think that the way that it came in a balm was really innovative. I think the way that they marketed it really helped to make people understand this is something new and exciting. Whereas with the Mary Phillips brand, at least for me, as someone that had no background knowledge about her before very recently, I could look at this and be like, okay, what makes this special? They barely did any marketing on this. They just posted their product shots, which are beautiful, by the way. I think it is so luxe and gorgeous just from the marketing. But other than that, it didn't tell me this is going to be something you need because X, Y, or Z. Do you know what I mean? This just looks like a whole bunch of different cream colors put into a pan and served up to you, which is not a bad thing. If you are someone that has more of a minimal collection, you want something where you can go and do your entire complexion in one palette, then yes, this is a great option for you. So for me, there's nothing about this that really stands out, and I think the only reason why I'm even debating maybe getting this is to see if it's any different, to let you guys know if it's any different. I might be completely off the mark and I may be missing out because this is going to be revolutionary. If that is the case, then maybe I will buy it. And Mary Phillips herself has said that she has been in the industry for, I believe, 20 years. So she had to use other products to get this look. All that to say, it's possible to get that underpainting look without these products. I'm going to keep talking about this, but I'm going to underpaint with a bunch of different products. I'm going to list everything down below like I normally do, but I have my Milk Contour Stick, and then I also have my Too Faced Bronzing Stick because I feel like bronzing and contouring kind of have to go together with underpainting. And I'm going to use my Sigma color corrector and my Natasha concealers. Like I said, there's still a piece of me that still wants this palette, but not necessarily because it's something I'm feeling I'm lacking in my collection. Oh, also let's talk about the shade range. There's 3 palettes And I kind of feel like that's terrible. If you're going to come out with something and you say that you've been working on it for super long, then maybe consider coming out with more shades, you know? She has said in some of the marketing videos that this is the first launch of colors, like shades, you know, and then they plan on launching more. I can understand coming out with just 3 palettes if you are a startup brand, because you may not have the funds because you haven't made any money off of the brand yet. So that makes sense. I can give it a little bit more leeway here because of that. And it does kind of seem like they tried to really flex the different palettes. So it looks like they went deeper on the deep palette, lighter on the light palette. The medium palette, I don't know. I feel like that might be the one that's meant for me, but I also feel like those colors are just a little off. Like I feel like personally for me, I'm somewhere between light and medium, and I would probably get the medium one if I had to choose one. And I'm gonna try to follow her technique here. I am interested in the lip liners, but I can tell you guys right now, I probably have a dozen of the same colored lip liners. But with saying that, I know I like those colors, you know, like I know I will use them because I have those types of colors in my collection. Oh no, my milk stick is like dried up. Look at this. You see that? That's a bummer. It feels really sticky right now. So she takes her contour color like up here. Uh-oh. Is this gonna work? Hopefully it does. I'm gonna go in with a different brush. I think maybe my brush is messing me up. My contour is dry. Oh my gosh, it's so sticky. What happened? That sucks. Has that happened to you guys with this? Let me know. It's like peeling off. And then she contours down here. Man, this is hard to work with right now. Look at this. What's going on? I swear this is like less than a year old. If this turns out horrible, maybe I do need that palette. I'm just kidding. Hi, so I took this off. I took the Milk Makeup contour stick off. I think mine probably has gone bad. As you guys saw, it is not creamy anymore. It smells a little off and it was not blending whatsoever. That was a mess. I kept it here though, just because I think the color is pretty good. But we're just gonna go in with the Too Faced one and do the same thing as a contour, because this one is a little bit more on the neutral side anyways versus being like a straight up bronzer. Anyways, let's move on. So I'm gonna add this really quickly before we start talking about the next one. So here, much better. And then down here right under the cheekbone. And then, like I said, I'm gonna kind of draw mine down to the side because it slims my face better. Kind of doing like a triangle type of thing. Okay, while we do this, let's talk about the next launch. So Natasha Denona just announced that they are coming out with a hy-glam foundation. Everyone is super excited about this from what I can tell so far. I am pretty intrigued, I will tell you. Well, I'm interested, but I also am on the fence about it. The hy-glam concealer, which I have here, I did a whole video on it when it first launched, and honestly, I was not impressed, mainly because I think I just got the completely wrong colors for my complexion, and it has been so long since I tried it out again, but so many people just rave and rave and rave about it, and I was like, let me give this another shot. I color matched myself in stores, and N9 seems to be the best one for me. I have NP10 as well. It's slightly on the warmer side, but N9 is pretty much spot on, and I really like it. And I've really been enjoying using it as like a full-on foundation versus just a concealer. I think it really shines through that way. Oh, I gotta recolor correct. But let me tell you, the reason why I am kind of on the fence, it says it's a soft, luminous, radiant foundation. So you guys know I'm oily, and I used to be all about that dewy look. When it came to foundations and stuff, I loved a dewy foundation. But this year, I have really found myself craving something a little bit more matte just because it lasts better throughout the day. And after a couple of hours, it ends up looking more like a natural dewy on me anyways, because my oils will come through. So I'm on the fence, because if this just starts off really dewy, I don't know if it's going to work for me, honestly. Y'all know, like, this is such a change, and I'm still kind of like convincing myself that this is a transition for me. I truly don't doubt that this is going to be a beautiful foundation, because the concealer, now that I have gotten my perfect match, I really like it. I love how easy it is to blend into the skin. I think it has great coverage. I really just had a complete change of heart on this concealer. I don't know. I am really interested to try it on my oily skin and then see if maybe I can set it down to where it works for me. But also, do I really need to force something to work if I already have some complexion products that I really enjoy already? Probably not. I feel like there's been a lot of excitement for this one for sure, which when there's excitement about a product from other people, I get excited because, I mean, as a beauty lover, I'm like, oh, this must be good if other people are really excited about it. Okay, I think we're pretty good on the underpainting now. Maybe, possibly. I feel like I need a little bit of bronzer, so I'm gonna use this Rare Beauty Happy Soul bronzer because this one is definitely more on the reddish side, so it'll be an obvious bronzer against the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil one. Yeah, that's nice. I don't think I ever got the underpainting technique down like where it looked flawless on me. I'm gonna use my Makeup Forever skin tint on top of all of this and a BK Beauty 111 brush. Speaking of contour sticks, Haus Labs is coming out with a Sculpt Shaping Balm, which essentially looks like it's going to be a cream stick contour as well. And these look beautiful. I mean, you guys know Haus Labs, when they come for complexion or really anything, when they launch anything, they come at it at such an innovative angle. They really put into consideration what a product needs to do and they kind of customize it to that. So these sculpting shaping balms are a contour, so they're going to be more leaning cool neutral. They always kill it when it comes to shade range. I was a little nervous when I first saw this because I was thinking that maybe it would be similar to their glossy balms, but it does say that this does have a matte satin finish, so it looks like it's going to dry down, which is perfect because if you're going to be contouring, you're going to want it to stay on the skin throughout the day, you know? So definitely not going to be glossy, so that's a plus. I was really on the fence before, and you know what? When I was looking at all of these releases and I saw the Haus Labs Shaping Balm, I was like, oh man, that would be so nice to have, but I don't need it. But now that I know that this one has kind of gone bad, maybe I do have room in my collection for it. Maybe I will get it. That's exciting. I think I would be Sculpt, maybe Silhouette, but the first three are definitely like, those would translate super gray on me. I might look into it. This looks pretty good, no? Like, it's a very subtle effect on the skin, which typically underpainting does have. Fenty Beauty is actually coming out with a Diamond Balm collection. It's a capsule collection, and if you guys are familiar, I have it right here. I think this is one of the first ones that they had. This is in the shade How Many Carats. Beautiful, super sparkly, diamond-like for sure. Took the internet by storm, I will say, and it always has like a little bit of a resurgence, which makes sense for me why they're coming out with this capsule collection. Because you know, sometimes when brands will come out with extensions, people will be like, no one is asking for this. That is not the case with Fenty. At least with this diamond collection, everyone has been asking. I feel like a lot of people are excited to see different colors in the Diamond Balm. At this point, I feel like it's kind of their MO to come out with a product and then come out with never-ending extensions of that same product. But you know why I feel like it works for them? Because the colors that they come out with, they extend with, are interesting. They come out with such unique, like nuanced colors. So for this extension, they're coming out with Trophy Wife, which is a super popular highlight that they initially launched when they like first released the brand. They're coming out with like this beautiful lavender that has a bunch of like pink, silver, greenish glitters in it. And they have a more like baby doll pink shade that has a little bit of a reflex that when you move around, it looks a little bit like an iridescent pink. So I think that they keep it interesting by releasing shades that are really fun to look at. I mean, I definitely feel like, at least with the Diamond Balm collection, these are going to be more editorial. Like, at least for me, I'm probably not going to be wearing these colors, these shades on a daily basis. I know a lot of people love glitter and people are really enjoying like more of this fun makeup. Oh, and that's another thing. I feel like this collection is fun. It's like a little bit different without having to really justify getting an entire, like, say, multi-chrome eyeshadow palette. You know you're not going to be wearing that every day if what you're doing now is all neutral. But at least with this one, you have the option to use it on your eyes, use it on your body, use it as a topper, use it alone for more of like a wet eyelid look or wherever you use it. Like, there's just so many options with this, and I think that's one of the reasons why Fenty does such a great job with these extensions. Personally, for me, I don't think I'm going to be picking them up just because the Diamond Balm, I already have How Many Carats and I love this one. I've been content with it. And also, a side note, I don't wear it all the time, so it doesn't make sense for me to go out and buy another 3 shades, you know? The lavender one is beautiful though. If I got one of them, I would probably get the lavender one. And also, I just recently picked up this Haus Labs glitter puck, the brand new shade in Glimmer Pop. This is beautiful. It gives you that scattered diamond glitter effect that the Diamond Balm also gives you. This one has more of a base though. It's going to be a little bit more metallic, like you can build it up to become more metallic, whereas this one is more like a topper type of thing. So we're going to be using this on the body actually towards the end of the video, and I might pop a little bit on, maybe I'll use a mixture of both on the eyes. Let's actually do that. So I'm gonna tap in just a tiny bit with the Half Magic one because this is potent. Like, you can probably see that right there. I just used a little bit of that Too Faced cream, and I'm not even gonna go in with a primer. I'm just going to stick this right on the eyes and bring it up to my arch. It's beautiful. It has like micro shimmers in it, but it's scattered enough to where it looks interesting on the eyes, you know? The tiniest amount, you guys, goes such a long way. This one I think also kind of feels wet when you're applying it. I don't know if that's intentional. And then to give it a little bit more dimension, let's go in with the Diamond Balm. So this, I'm pretty sure that this is kind of like a cream powder hybrid. When I first bought this, I thought it was just a powder, but it is a creamy type of texture. Place that right on top, maybe in the inner corner only. Beautiful. It's just so fun. And like I said, you can use this as a topper. I think that's really pretty. And it's so fine that it can kind of look like a little bit of a glassy sheen on the eyes. So nice. So with all that being said, if you don't already own a Diamond Balm and these colors speak to you, I think it's definitely worth it. But if you already have this one, I feel like you can kind of mix it with things that you already own to make it a little bit more gold or purple or a little iridescent pink. Also, lastly, on this Diamond Balm collection, they are coming out with one of the body oils. I think it's like the lava body oil. And I did actually see this at Ulta, so I went ahead and I tried it just because I wanted to see what the texture was like for these oils. It's pretty thick. Like, it feels not like a regular body oil that you put on after the shower. Like, this kind of feels like more body makeup, and the oily texture was a little bit sticky for me. I felt like it didn't really dry down. Like, I put it on the back of my hand, I think on my arm too, and I like walked around for 10-15 minutes and it never dried down. So I don't know if I used too much. I feel like I used a tiny bit and it was just uncomfortable for me. So I'm not really one to wear body makeup often anyways, just because I feel like I can really feel it. So for me, it's not really something that I would want. Oh, and the sparkles were just like the Diamond Balm sparkles. So they're going to be more scattered, more noticeable. It's not going to be like a body oil that you put on and it just makes the skin look super shiny, like there's a sheen to it. There's noticeable glitter, which makes sense for the collection, right? But personally for me, I'm not really looking for something like that. Hey guys, so it's a completely different day, as you can probably tell, but I wanted to jump in here because there have been a couple of announcements for even more makeup releases that I want to cover. I feel like this video just wouldn't be complete without covering these things. So first and foremost, Louis Vuitton, they came out with their makeup brand. If you guys haven't heard, Pat McGrath is actually the one that's heading the Louis Vuitton makeup category here. And if you have not heard already, the prices are insane. Absolutely incredibly insane. So the lipsticks are $160, and then they have eyeshadow quads for $250. Quads, 4 eyeshadows for $250. The lip balms are $160 too, it says, or that's what I'm reading here. I want to say like Hermes, Chanel, Dior, they're all ranging anywhere between $50 to $85, $90. Like an Hermes lipstick right now is $81, which already is pretty insane, and it's not something that I personally would be spending my money on, just because that is not something that I desire to spend my money on. You know, I don't want to sit here and tell people like you're absolutely wrong for wanting these luxury designer makeup brands. Absolutely not saying that. I think that if what you want is something from Louis Vuitton's makeup line, by all means, do it. But I can't say that I'm going to be purchasing anything. That is just completely out of my tax bracket, way above my pay grade. It's not something that I personally will be picking up. I do not doubt, though, that this makeup brand is going to be beautiful if it has anything similar to Pat McGrath's formulas, especially the eyeshadows. They're going to be gorgeous. I am sure of that. I actually feel like it would be more of a surprise and more interesting if it wasn't. Like, that would be a shocker to me. But here is my thought process. Obviously, we all know in this economy, this is just ridiculous. This is not anything that your normal person is going to sit there and be like, you know what? I think I'm going to treat myself to a lip balm that's $160. That's not where most of us are thinking, but at the same time, that's not what Louis Vuitton is trying to do. This is what I think. And I read a bunch of articles about this. I will pop up on the screen here. You guys are more than welcome to pause this so you can kind of read some of these thoughts and opinions. I think it's definitely a factor of a couple of different things. I think that with this makeup launch and the pricing that they chose, it's very, very deliberate. They are making that exclusivity known, you know? You can have this makeup and these beauty products if you buy into it. You must buy into this to be part of the club, this elite club. That is what they're doing. These products are going to be status symbols. And you know what's the craziest part is that the packaging is not giving luxury to me. You would expect some sort of leather casing, you know, like with the eyeshadow palettes, I would expect some sort, like, you know, with the YSL blushes and compacts, they have like that quilted pattern. I would expect something similar like that to Louis Vuitton. Instead, we have plastic. I'm sure it's heavy. I would hope it's heavy, but there's no leather. There's a little bit of the clover engraving and the LV, obviously, but really nothing special about this. And you know, the thing about makeup is when it comes to designer handbags, you can walk around and people can see it and people can see that you spent the money. You're kind of giving an idea of your status, whatever that may be. But there is some sort of messaging there. But when it comes to makeup, you can't necessarily, like if someone is wearing a lipstick, it could be 10, 15, 500 different lip colors, you know? Like someone's not going to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, is that the new Louis Vuitton red? Unless someone is whipping out their new makeup like in public or whatever, or they're filming with it, then no one's really going to know. But to me, I think that it's more of a quiet luxury type of purchase. People that are buying these makeup products, not for research, not to just like buy it to see if, you know, it's worth the hype, specifically buying it because they see it and they're like, oh, that's a pretty quad, or that's a pretty lipstick, I think I want it. People who are buying them are not worried about the price tag. And you know what? That's just not me. The shock value is definitely there. And I'm sure that their marketing team knew that that would be the case. But what is wrong with getting some extra PR about it even before it launches? If anything, this is great for them. They're setting a precedent, they're letting us know, and they're preparing us to understand where Louis Vuitton beauty is going to go in the future. Same thing with like Chantecaille and La Mer and Sicily, Paris, like all of those brands, they exist. They have their loyal customers, people that enjoy super high luxury beauty products. They can enjoy their makeup however they want. They can spend their money however they want. But I will say they successfully broke the internet with their pricing. I think they did a great job with that. The next step is going to be to see how the makeup products actually perform. And I think it'll be interesting to see if they have any standout products. For instance, Pat McGrath has her Mothership palettes, and those are coveted palettes. I'm wondering if Louis Vuitton is also going to come out with a coveted product within their line that people will be willing to buy into, at least for that product. And it's also interesting because they're not an established beauty brand. So I think that's another thing that's really shocking. They just came out the gate and they said, this is what we're gonna do, whether you guys like it or not. Buy it, don't buy it, whatever. I have a feeling that they're still gonna make a lot of money off of this, because I mean, the buzz is already there. A couple more things I want to include while we're already sitting here. Colourpop just announced their Shrek collection, and I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this, I was like, oh, that's cute. I love Shrek. I mean, who doesn't love Shrek? I ended up buying the eyeshadow palette. So it's $25 for the eyeshadow palette. And I've talked about recently how I'm really loving green eyeshadow on myself. I love how it makes my eyes pop. And when I saw the swatches, I was like, wait, this is actually super, super beautiful. They have such beautiful shimmery greens as well as some mattes. They have some more subdued, like desaturated colors, which I really, really enjoy. And there's a good amount of neutrals in here as well. So I was like, I kind of want it. I want it for the novelty, and I want it because I think that there are some colors that I can use one off and I would really enjoy. And I also got the Donkey lip gloss because Donkey, hello. The color as well was the one that intrigued me the most out of the collection of lip glosses. And it smells like waffles. I thought that was such a cute touch. Rare Beauty is coming out with a Tajin collection, a Rare Beauty liquid blush. It's a limited edition one, as well as a lip gloss. I think that this is fun. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's really pretty. The colors themselves, oh my gosh, that chamoy color, that deep brown blush, so beautiful. It's a set of full size cheek and lip. It's $30? A value of $45. So Rare Beauty is at a really good price point if you consider the quality of their products, as well as the hype of their products, as well as being at Sephora. I think it's a really good one. I'm very tempted to buy this. Do you think that they're gonna make chamoy part of their permanent line or release it by itself? Oh, you just never know with Rare Beauty, because they're like limited edition, and then they come out with 3 different sets with that same limited edition shade, and then sometimes they make it permanent. So I don't know, but I do like this set, especially for the value of it. I'm putting that on my wish list though. Oh, I wanted to mention the Fenty primers. Okay, here's my thing with Fenty. I think that they come out with really interesting ideas and packaging to draw people in. At least from my experience, half the time they're a little bit more novelty, and half the time they actually are really, really good products. For instance, the cookies and cream face mask, I feel like the novelty of that like won over the actual performance of the face mask, because I mean, we don't hear people talking about that face mask. They definitely sell. Their products definitely sell, but I'm hoping that these primers actually are ones that really, really perform, because Fenty has really great complexion products. I think that's where they shine. Love their foundations and skin tints. Love their concealer. I think that they do very well with complexion. I'd be interested to see what people think about this one. And lastly, I did want to touch on the Boy Smells Bratz Fragrance Mist. So they came out with a collab body mist called Doll Skin. So cute. Are you guys 90s babies? Did you grow up in the 90s? I did, and Bratz were... I love Bratz. I think I was more of a Bratz girl than a Barbies girl. And this is $28. Not bad, but again, it is a body mist, so take with that what you will. Usually body mists don't last as long on the skin, but for someone that is more sensitive to fragrances, maybe that's a good thing. Like for me, for instance, I do enjoy that. I do enjoy sometimes having the fragrance kind of fade or linger a little bit, you know? And if you're like me, I can't stick with one fragrance for a whole day. I end up spraying myself with even more stuff. This says it has top notes of strawberry, mid note of vanilla orchid, and base note of plastic doll accord. I am quite interested to see what this smells like. Not interested enough to purchase it, I'll be honest. I only have one experience, I think, or maybe 2 experiences with Boy Smells. I had a candle. I got it in an advent calendar, and then I think I had like a little sample of one of their fragrances, but I don't think that they are a fragrance house that I'm dying over, but I am really interested to at least smell this one. plastic doll accord. That's so interesting to me. Okay, that's it. Those are all of the extra things that I wanted to talk about for the video. Let's talk about something that I felt like didn't really make sense at first. Well, it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. So MAC is coming out with new liquid highlighters. They're the Skinfinish lightstruck liquid highlighters. And when I first saw this, I didn't think it was MAC. It doesn't look like MAC packaging. I kind of felt like it looked a little bit like Hourglass. It's interesting to me. I'm not against it, but I'm also not running out to get it. Like I said, they are coming out with a ton of colors actually. So it's interesting because the colors look really pretty. This released in Japan from what I can see, and it looks gorgeous on the skin. So this one, unlike the Fenty one, doesn't look like it has any noticeable glitter. It looks more like pearlescent, more like an actual like shimmer sheen type of thing. There's a couple shades that look really beautiful. There's like a champagne one, a little bit more of like a bronze color. They look gorgeous, but again, I wasn't in the market for it before, and I'm not like a huge MAC girl. So for me, I'm like, oh, it's pretty, and then I kind of scrolled past it. But I did want to show you guys a couple of things that it reminded me of when I first saw it. So first of all, do you guys remember the, what are they called? The Becca Backlight highlighters? Those, amazing. Those are exactly what I thought of when I saw these MAC Skinfinish Lightstruck highlighters. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Becca. Ugh, those were so good. But that's what it reminded me of. But within my collection, it made me think of the Ciele Glowy Super Gels. So I actually have 3 colors of these. They had sent me, I think, 2 of them, and I bought one of them before. So I have Warm Glow, Sun Glow, and Rose Glow. They give that same, let me show you, that same kind of pearly finish. And I have used these Ciele primers as highlighters on top of my makeup. Like you can see, it has that sheen. This one looks more jelly-like, and it looks like it has a little bit more color to it. So you can see right there with the Warm Glow one, obviously you're meant to use it under your makeup, but I have used it like on the back of my hand, used a brush and then brushed it over, and it looks really beautiful that way. But if you're looking for more of an intense purposeful highlight, like something that is already a highlight, I pulled these 2 out. The Iconic London Illuminator, I'm pretty sure mine is expired. This has to be years old. This one is kind of going to be that metallic sheen, but you can still kind of achieve more of a subtle highlight if you use the tiniest amount of this. So you can see it looks very metallic, but as you blend it, it kind of just gives your skin that wet glossy look, which is absolutely beautiful, and you need the tiniest amount. So like this will last you forever. This has lasted me forever. And then I also have this Typology Glow Drop, but this is gorgeous, and this is going to be one that I feel like is a little bit more if you're more into like that natural makeup look, or you're doing a little less with your makeup but you still want some glow. This one is going to give it to you. Like you can see that sheen right there, right here. And then as you blend it, it kind of just melts into the skin and gives you this radiance to it. And this also feels like it has some sort of skincare in it. It feels really nice, like very hydrating. I've used these other products before, but I don't think I've featured this one on my channel yet, so let's try it. Also talking about some highlighters, Glossier is coming out with some liquid highlighters. They look like they have sort of like that same pearlescent radiance to them. And on the description, it says that they're non-sticky, they're non-tacky. So I'm assuming that once you apply onto the skin, it's going to dry down. Do you guys remember Glossier having like glow drops when glow drops were a thing? I bought some of those and I really liked them, but they're definitely more subtle than what I think these highlights are trying to be. Okay. There is that highlighter, really pretty. Once I powder this skin down, you guys will be able to see what this highlight looks like. And it actually does dry down on the skin. Like it actually feels like it's starting to dry down, which is nice. So they are coming out with 6 shades, and I think these shades are really beautiful. And again, as far as what I can tell based on their descriptions and stuff of this product, there's really nothing that they're claiming that this can do differently. Like there's nothing that sets this apart from other highlights. I think Glossier definitely, like from the last couple of launches, I think that they are definitely catering to their existing audience. They're not trying to do any intense outreach to get new customers. And the reason I say that is because a lot of their last couple of launches just haven't really hit for me. I haven't been that interested in them. And again, I might just not be their demographic, and that's okay. And if I did get this product, I might love it, and that's okay too. But there's nothing like making me run out and buy it. However, I will say that the one thing that stands out to me that I think is quite special about these liquid highlighters is the shade range. So they actually do have more of this deep, rich brown highlight shade. When I was thinking about it, I don't think I've seen that with other highlights. I think the deepest ones we've seen really are like bronzy shades, right? This one is a deep, rich brown that has like a little bit of a like goldish red sheen to it that I think is really, really pretty. So that's exciting. I think that could definitely be a hit. The packaging is fun. I do think that the little brush tip is quite small though, so it's like very pinpointed. But even still, if you're going to have a highlight, I would assume that you would brush it on and end up dabbing it anyways. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the brush versus a pump because then you can use exactly how much you need, you know? Okay, I'm gonna really bake my face so we can actually use a spray, because the next product I want to talk about is a setting spray that claims to be hydrating as well, and it's from Phlur Mercier. It is their Ultra Blur setting spray. And when I saw this, you guys, I was so excited. You know that one of my favorite powders is the Phlur Mercier pressed powder, the Ultra Blur version. I mean, we're almost out here. So when I saw they were coming out with a setting spray, I got so excited, and I got even more excited when I saw that it was more of like that continuous mist setting spray, because I immediately thought this was going to be like OneSize On Till Dawn setting spray. But I was reading the description more while they were like coming out with more information about it, and it does say that it's going to be a hydrating setting spray that makes the makeup last. So it's another one of those where it says it controls the shine and gives hydration to the skin. So I was kind of like, oh man, I was hoping for like a really long wear mattifying spray like the OneSize one. They have some marketing where they kind of like melt the powder down, so that's what we're gonna do. That's why I'm baking my face right now. So to me, this new one from Phlur Mercier sounds like it's more like the powder melt from OneSize, so we're going to use this today. I will say the ingredient list though is very interesting. Like, why do they have niacinamide in it? Why are all of the brands adding niacinamide? I know that it was a very like buzzworthy ingredient, but now I feel like enough people have come out and said, I hate niacinamide for my skin reacts to it, so why are we still adding it? Is it cheap to put it in there, or does it actually help? Like, are people actually like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get this setting spray over another one because it has niacinamide? I don't know. I don't really get it. One ingredient that does kind of make sense to me though is the ectoin, because it says it's going to protect the skin barrier from free radicals, which if you're going to use a setting spray, kind of like a shield for your makeup, then yeah, that part kind of makes sense. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, let's spray this on though. I still really like this one though. I like to use it to melt my makeup. Oh, it didn't get this part. Okay, that melted it down. I'm just getting rid of any excess powder, but look at the skin. It looks so good. I find that if I'm going to use this, I do have to go in a little heavier with the powder to make sure that it doesn't get overly shiny, but it works for me when I need my makeup to last really long because I can powder it down and then I can like melt the powder into the skin versus just dusting it off, you know? And I'm just using this to get rid of any excess or kind of like blend it out. OneSize is actually coming out with a finishing powder, and I'm actually very intrigued because I feel like this finishing powder from OneSize is gonna be done right. You know OneSize and their complexion products, when it comes to complexion, typically they go more towards full coverage, more mattifying, which is beautiful for people that have more oily skin or just in general really like something that is more full coverage. And I saw that this formula is going to be baked. I love a baked finishing powder because it gives me just the right amount of powder to kind of finish everything off and not act like, you know, a powder foundation where it's way more concentrated. Baked powders just looks so much more airbrushed on the skin, and it makes so much sense for a finishing powder because you just want that light veil. So this says it has a silk finish with dimensional coverage. I don't necessarily know what that means, but it does say that it has light coverage, and it also says it has a bouclé wear tech. Now I have looked and I've tried to figure out what that means, like what that technology is, but it doesn't say anywhere, like it doesn't explain it. I'm sure they will come out with more information on that. As far as shade range goes, I think it's a pretty good shade range because with finishing powders, it does go on quite sheer anyways, and because this is going to be a light coverage, then it's going to be more flexible in shade. I tend to go a little bit lighter than my skin tone when it comes to finishing powders because sometimes when they mix with like your complexion products that you already have, like your liquid foundation and concealer, it can sort of darken everything. So I tend to go a little bit lighter, but I'm really interested in trying this one out. I'm actually quite excited about it. We will see if I end up picking that one up. I'm using my Kosas Cloud Set and I love this. I have been loving this for months now. It's just absolutely incredible. It makes the skin look so soft and blurred, as you can see. It just looks so good. Now, I will say I wasn't a huge fan of the powder foundation. I just felt like it didn't sit right on my skin. It emphasized my texture and like any lines that I had on the skin. And I also feel like I didn't pick a good shade for myself, so that does play a role in it. I did end up decluttering that one after trying to use it for quite a while, trying to get it to work for me, but it wasn't my favorite. So I'm really hoping that this finishing powder is kind of like redemption for me. Okay, let's go in with some blush. So there's two blush products that I want to talk about. First being the YSL Blush and Highlight Palette. I actually think I really want this. So I don't think it's released in the US yet. I don't even think it's like supposed to release anytime soon. I saw this palette and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. So I love the YSL blush formula. I have one here in the shade 37 and this thing is so good, and I've been tempted to purchase more, but I can't. It's so expensive. But I feel like with a palette like this, I could kind of justify it. So the shades are more on the pinky side, but they have like a light pink, a medium pink, and a deeper pink, and then you also have a couple of highlights in here that I think would be really pretty to mix with each other as well as with the blush. It has that same like quilted packaging that YSL is known for, and it just looks gorgeous. It does say it's in Europe now. It's supposed to be coming soon, but I really like this one. And they're smaller pans. And I feel like for the smaller pans, it would kind of work better for me because, I mean, a regular size blush like this, I'm probably not going to go through anytime soon. So having it all compact in a palette like that and less of it, I think just makes sense for the size of my collection at this point. Kind of going back on that, not wanting to add too many big blushes to my collection, Ciele is coming out with powder blushes. They actually just released them. I did buy some. I did order some during the Sephora app like pre-release or whatever. I got the shade Crush, which is a soft peach, and the shade Cozy, which is a soft nude. Those are like my go-tos when it comes to blushes. But this says that they are a silky blurring finish and they're supposed to be buildable, like have a light medium buildable coverage. But what's most exciting for me is one, they have an SPF of 45, and then two, they are acne safe. That is like the biggest draw for me. Now I know that people are split on SPF. They're like, oh, so you're gonna have a white spot on your cheek where you put the blush. Not necessarily, because I use SPF on my entire face every day anyways. And then the way that I look at makeup with SPF, it's just kind of like an added bonus, you know? And in general, I think that this launch really speaks to me because I like Ciele as a brand. I like the products. I have loved everything that I've purchased from them. The skin tint is definitely a holy grail for me. I cannot get enough of that skin tint. The liquid blushes I think are so beautiful, and I've never had an issue with the liquid blushes, and those also have SPF in them. I knew that I would love this, and I have really been loving powder blushes recently, so this is like right up my alley. I like the color of the compact, but I don't necessarily think that it looks durable. There's something about it that I'm like, I wish it was kind of like their skin tint where it has this opaque emerald green to it. Like I wish it was just one of those compacts, but I kind of get it because you can see the color, but at the same time it's not the same color because there's a hue of green on top of it. I don't know. It's interesting. It doesn't look like it fits perfectly within their brand look, other than the fact that it's green. But they also kind of remind me of the Ilia blushes. These are the soft focus blurring blushes, and I did end up getting another color. This is in the shade Wonder. I showed you guys Breathless and Pulse in a previous video, so I was going to put this one on to show you guys what it looks like. These definitely have that soft focus blur to them. It kind of has like that pearlescent glow to it without having any actual glitter or like sheen to it. It just looks so good on the skin. It applies very buttery. You could build it up because this one also is more of a light medium buildable coverage, so you don't have to be afraid of using too much at one time. And I just have been loving these. This is another one where I was like, the packaging is just okay. Like, I love this whole thing, but the actual feel of it, it feels kind of cheap, you know, but so far I haven't had any issues, so hopefully it holds up, because I'm definitely going to be taking these on some trips with me. Okay, so face is set. So now let's talk about some lip releases. So NYX is coming out with lip lingeries. So these look like they're going to be kind of like a lip liner pen, similar to the Huda Beauty one, the CoverGirl one, and the Wet n Wild one. Looking at the picture, these look really interesting because of the colors. Now they look like they're going to be more on the nude, sort of like nudie pink side of things. So I think the color range, they kind of like, if this is what it is, they did a really good job with it. I feel like that's what a lot of people are kind of looking for when it comes to the lip liners. I will say it looks a little bit like the light ones might be lighter in nature. So when you apply it and then if you kind of blend it out, it may kind of be lighter on the lips than when it initially is applied. And I feel like maybe they'll kind of see that same issue that people were having with the Huda Beauty ones, where they were saying like, oh, it's drying out, like there's not enough pigment. It does look like it has a little bit of that ball tip to it. Do you guys remember when the Bubble Freckle pen came out and people were saying that you can use it as a lip liner? I feel like that is kind of the same thought process here. It looks nice. I don't really know what the reason for the ball tip is for. Maybe it distributes the product more evenly on the tip of the applicator versus using more of a pointed brush where it's more pigmented on the tip. Maybe they're trying to avoid that, so it's more of a gradient. That's the only thing I can think of, like off the top of my head. It includes 12 shades, will be available August 28th, and this is one that I'm definitely going to be picking up because I myself am curious, and I know that you guys are always really curious about these types of products and you want to see what it looks like, so I definitely want to pick it up for that reason as well. But we're gonna go ahead and use the Huda Beauty lip contour stain. This is the Rosewood one, still my favorite one, and I've actually really been loving to use this as more of a foundation, and then I'll use a regular lip liner pencil on top and then my lip color. Still really enjoying this too. But if you had any issues with the Huda Beauty ones and maybe you want to try something that doesn't cost as much, obviously, the lip liners from NYX would be nice. I think what surprises me the most about this NYX release is that they have more nude colors, because you know NYX loves really fun, bright, vibrant colors. But I think maybe they listened to the public and they saw kind of like the feedback from other brands that had lip liner pens, and maybe they realized going more neutral is the way to go. Okay, I'm just gonna top that. Have this Buxom lip liner. I like the brush on the other side too. Oh, I forgot to mention this. So Pat McGrath is coming out with a new setting spray and more shades of the under eye powder. I'm kind of like, dang, finally. The setting spray looks nice, but specifically the under eye powder, this has always intrigued me. I've always wanted to pick one of these up, but I just can't justify it for the price, if I'm being honest. This always looks beautiful when I see people apply it and their under eyes look so blurred and airbrushed, almost like there's a filter there. So I'm always tempted to pick it up. And now that they have 2 new shades, I might pick it up, but I might wait for a sale because I have a lot of powders right now that I'm kind of like going through, and there's a couple of powders that I have on my wish list. So I'm just gonna add this to my wish list. And as far as the setting spray goes, it says it's a long wear blurring setting spray. So again, that's really interesting to me. It says it's going to give you lasting hydration while creating a soft focused finish, heat and humidity resistant all day wear. So I don't know. I am interested, but I'm not interested enough to buy it because it is $38. And if I do pick up the Laura Mercier one, then I don't want to have two setting sprays that, you know, I have to go through when I already have a couple. Speaking of setting sprays, you guys, Urban Decay. If you guys are not caught up on the Urban Decay drama, basically, they announced that they are revamping a lot of their collection, and they started off with marketing brand new setting sprays. This is the old one they had sent me in PR, I think last year, and this one is by Skindinavia. So the drama is basically Urban Decay dropped Skindinavia, who makes their original setting spray, and they didn't tell Skindinavia that they were going to reformulate and come out with a new formulation for their setting spray. But on top of that, they were kind of trashing their old setting spray formula. They were pulling like old comments and that were saying like the setting spray sucked, like the mist sucked, all these things. So in my mind, I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe your setting spray was a little outdated, but I don't remember people saying it was horrible. I actually remember a lot of people loving the setting spray. The marketing was shady from the beginning, and then all this information came out. Skindinavia spoke out and said like they were not aware that this was happening. If you want to see a video, a really well done video about this, Jen Love actually covers a lot of makeup news, and she did a segment on the Skindinavia Urban Decay drama. So I will link that down below if you guys want to get like a full picture of what's going on. But anyways, super shady. I think it hurt them more than it helped them. Like, yes, people are talking about it, but I feel like a lot of people are turned off by just how shady it was. But they did send me this one as well as one of their new eyeshadow palettes. I was hoping that I would get the original or the matte when I got the package in the mail, but they did send me the glow one, and I wanted to like compare these two to kind of see what the difference is, but the finish is going to be different. But I do want to see if this is still cooling, because they say that the new formula is still cooling. But that's interesting because Skindinavia has a patent on the cooling technology in this one, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I didn't know that this had cooling technology. Maybe it's been too long since I've used it. I just pulled this out of my like PR drawer. So this is a brand new bottle. I don't remember it being marketed as that when it first came out, but apparently it was. Maybe I just missed it. I don't know. It says temperature control technology on the bottle, so maybe I just didn't even notice that. But let's spray it. I mean, it feels wet. Look, it did spit a little bit. Do you see that? That's something that they were talking about. People saying that the mister was not great. So it does feel cool, but I mean, it's liquid. Once it hits your skin, it's going to feel cool. Oh, but it does feel very cool. Okay, now let's spray this one on this arm. Let's see if it spits, and then let's see what this mist is like, because those are the things that they're saying is different. It's supposed to still be cooling. Okay, that mist is a lot better, I will say. The mist itself is much more fine, while this one is a little more aggressive. Why did I fan my face like I put on my face? Should we just put it on the face to see how it does? I don't know. This is obviously going to be glowy though. It's fine. Okay, let's put some, just one spritz. It is quite an aggressive spray, but I will say if you do a spray and then put it on your face, it doesn't really spit from what I just experienced. And then let's put this on this side. Yeah, that mist is a lot better. Ooh, kind of hits you. When you breathe in, it kind of, the chemicals kind of punch the nose. I didn't notice that with this one. Doesn't feel different. It kind of looks the same, doesn't it? I don't know. Would you guys be interested in seeing like the new version of this one? Let me know in the comments. That kind of turned me off though. If it weren't for research purposes, like seeing if this was any different from the original, I probably wouldn't buy it. It just doesn't make sense in my head for a brand to tout that they have like the best thing ever and then go back and be like, it sucked actually. Get this instead. This doesn't make sense. Like, you can say that you made upgrades and improvements and stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to crap on your original. You should be proud of what you guys came out with originally, you know? Like, you should pay homage to what you came out with before. At least in this specific situation, I don't think that they handled it very well. So for the last couple products, they're going to be fragrance and body care, starting with the Fenty Salted Caramel collection. They're bringing this one back. I believe last year they only came out with the Butter Drop in the Salted Caramel within like a trio of mini Butter Drops. So I really like the, oh, this just came off. I was trying to open it. Is that supposed to come off? It didn't crack or anything, just kind of came off. Weird. This time they're coming out with an entire line. They're coming out with the body butter, the body lotion, and the lip mask. This looks pretty good, but I will say that I'm not sure how this is going to do in warm weather, which makes sense why they're releasing it come fall time, but it's always hot in Florida. So for me, I feel like this is probably not great. It says that this has notes of caramel, cookie dough, and vanilla. I love the Butter Drop Whipped Oil Body Cream formula. I love how it's slightly thicker, and then when you rub it in, it's a little bit oily while also being like a mix, like a hybrid with a lotion. I think it feels so good on the skin. When I smelled it in stores last year, I remember the salted caramel was just like not it for me though. The body lotion, I also have that in the original scent, and I love that texture too. It's definitely a lighter feeling lotion, a little bit like milky textured, but it absorbs into the skin really well. And then the lip mask, really beautiful too. I think if anything, the lip mask might be the one that I would pick up, if any, but I think that this is actually one that I'm gonna skip, because sometimes caramel can be a little stinky, and then when it's warmer weather, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a warm weather fragrance for me. I mean, if you live in a cooler climate, this might be really beautiful for you. I did say I was going to put some of this on my body, so I'm just going to take this big fluffy brush right here and then just dust this. This is such a beautiful like body glitter. I think I've used this on my body more than I have on my actual face, and that's saying something because, like I said, I'm not one for a lot of body makeup, but this, I like that it's kind of like in that cream powder form, so it's not sticky or anything. I really like this on the shoulders. It's almost like this light sheen on the body, like you can see right there. Looks so good. Of course, we have to talk about the Rare Beauty fragrance. They actually sent this to me in PR. I was not expecting this. I haven't gotten Rare Beauty PR in such a long time, and then getting this in the mail, I was like, oh, okay. So first of all, I love this packaging. It locks shut, so you can click it to lock it. And when you spray it, you can use your whole hand to spray it, because it's supposed to be a lot easier with people that have more motor function issues. And this one says that it has caramel and pistachio, vanilla, spicy ginger, and then it dries down to an earthy sandalwood. So it's more of a warm and spicy fragrance. When I heard that, I was kind of like, I don't know if I like it. But when you actually spray it, I don't know what I expected it to smell like. Well, actually I do. I thought it was just going to be a straight up caramel gourmand scent, but it has a lot of warmth to it that I actually feel like makes this way, way more wearable, especially if you live in a warmer climate. I smell a lot of that sandalwood, but it's not too earthy, because you do have that brighter notes of like caramel and pistachio that make it, again, a little bit more warm and earthy. I haven't smelt the balms though yet. I am intrigued, and I like the idea that they came out with 4 different types of balms to kind of bring out different notes within this fragrance. I think that that's so nice because you can build on top of the fragrance. If you're looking at this as a gourmand, it's a little bit more of a mature gourmand. This one was unexpected for me, but I really like this one. I've been wearing it quite often too. And then lastly is actually one that I think I might, I don't know, I'm on the fence. The Phlur Mrs Smith body spray. So this is the body and hair fragrance mist. I am so intrigued by this one. I heard that it smells like Jolly Ranchers, like the green Jolly Ranchers, and that just sounds so yummy to me. In my head, this one is going to smell kind of like Mood Ring, which is like a gummy scent, like more gourmand. So it sounds like it's going to be very fruity, but it says fruity florals, so I think it's a little bit more grounded than just a fruity scent. I'm very curious to smell this in person. There's been a couple times now that I've almost bought it just on a whim on Sephora because I want to know what this smells like. Alright guys, so those are all of the releases that have been kind of talked about recently. What are your thoughts? Is there anything that you guys are curious to try or maybe picking up for yourself? I think in terms of curbing the makeup craving, we did a pretty good job. The Ciele blushes were like my number one thing that I really wanted, and I did end up picking up. Everything else I'm kind of like, it's probably good, but I could probably pass on it. Hopefully I was able to talk you out of buying some things today and maybe reignite your passion for things that you may already have in your collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. And of course, if you want to see more Curbing Makeup Cravings videos, I will leave the playlist right here. But until next time, you guys, please take care of yourselves and I will see you very soon. Bye.